The night Marcus Hayes first walked into Vanguard Tower, nobody noticed. It was February, the kind of cold that makes billionaires complain about their private jets. He wore a gray jumpsuit 2 sizes too big, a fake name tag that read M. Lopez, and a baseball cap pulled so low the security cameras caught nothing but shadow. He clocked in at 10:57 p.m., took the service elevator to the 63rd floor, and started emptying trash cans nobody ever thanked him for. 11 months later, the same man was leaning against a mop handle while Elena Voss, the most feared woman on Wall Street, laughed in his face and dangled helicopter keys like a cat toy. But we're getting ahead of ourselves. Let's go back to the night it all began, really began. Marcus's grandfather, General Reginald Hayes, didn't die in a hospital bed surrounded by family. He died alone in a safe house outside Lisbon, shot twice in the chest by a man he once called brother. The official story was heart failure. The unofficial story was buried so deep it needed its own submarine. Reginald's last act was to transfer 87% of Vanguard Global into a trust nobody knew existed, controlled by a janitor who didn't. The lawyers found Marcus 3 weeks later in a dive bar in Jacksonville, elbow deep in a carburetor, grease up to his soul. "You're worth $39 billion, the lead attorney said. Marcus wiped his hands on a rag. "Cool. Can I finish this beer first?" He didn't want the money. He wanted the truth. So he made a deal. He'd take the company, but only if he could walk through it invisible for 1 year. No bodyguards. No drivers. No name on the door. Just a mop, a cart, and 11 months to see who these people really were when the cameras were off. The board agreed because the board was terrified of the alternative. So Marcus became the ghost of Vanguard Tower. He learned that Richard in accounting cried in the stairwell every time his wife texted, "We need to talk." He learned that Elena Voss worked until 4 a.m. most nights, then slept on the couch in her office because her penthouse felt like a museum. He learned she kept a photo of a little girl with pigtails taped inside her desk drawer, her sister, dead at 9 from leukemia. Elena never talked about it. Ever. He also learned Elena was ruthless, brilliant, and lonely in a way that money couldn't fix. Every Thursday, she stayed late for the Tokyo call. Every Thursday, Marcus cleaned the boardroom after. One night, she caught him reading the classified merger docs she'd left open. "You read Japanese?" she asked, not looking up from her laptop. "Enough to know you're about to screw over 3,000 families in Osaka." She finally met his eyes. "And you care because?" "Because my mom was one of those families before she married an American sergeant and got out." Elena closed the laptop. "What's your real name, janitor?" He almost told her. God, he almost did. Instead, he said, "Night, Ms. Voss," and pushed his card into the hallway. That was the first time her mask slipped. Just for a second. Fast forward 10 months. The helicopter dare. The loop-de-loop. The viral video. The dinner in Harlem. The proposal. The wedding. All of that happened exactly like the internet said it did. But the internet never got the full story. The morning after the Helipad wedding, Elena woke up in the penthouse she hadn't slept in for 6 years. Marcus was gone. There was a note on the pillow. "Gone fishing. Back by lunch. Don't fire anyone I like. M." She smiled, padded barefoot to the kitchen, and found a post-it on the fridge. "P.S. Check the safe behind the Basquiat." She did. Inside was a flash drive and a single Polaroid of a 9-year-old Elena holding a stuffed giraffe at the county fair. On the back, in a child's handwriting, "When I grow up, I want to be a pilot." Elena's hands shook so hard she dropped the picture. The flash drive contained one video file. She plugged it into the wall screen. Marcus sat in what looked like a cargo plane, wearing tactical gear she'd never seen. Behind him, crates stamped with languages she couldn't read. "If you're watching this," he said, "it means phase 2 started early. I'm sorry, baby. I wanted 1 year of normal. We got 8 months. He looked tired. Older. "Remember the merger you closed last week? The one that bought us half of Eastern Europe's lithium mines? That wasn't a merger. It was bait. There's a group, let's call them the Consortium, who've been trying to weaponize battery tech for hypersonic missiles. Your deal forced their hand. They're coming for us. Tonight." Elena's blood turned to ice. Marcus continued. "The janitor thing was cover. The wedding was cover. Even the baby," his voice cracked. "Insurance. If anything happens to me, you and the kid disappear. There's a ranch in Montana under the name Elena Hayes. Papers are in the safe. Go there. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200. He leaned closer to the camera. I love you more than oxygen. If I don't come back, live big enough for both of us. The video ended. Elena was still staring at the screen when the lights went out. Not just in the penthouse, in the entire building. Then the entire block. Her phone buzzed. Unknown number. Mrs. Hayes, a distorted voice said. We have your husband. The helicopter on the roof leaves in 6 minutes. Come alone, or he dies screaming. She didn't hesitate. She was in the pilot seat of the H160 before the rotors finished spinning up. She didn't have a plan. She had rage and 7 months of pregnancy and a promise she'd made on a helipad at sunrise. The voice texted coordinates, an abandoned airfield in rural Pennsylvania. She flew nap of the earth the whole way, skimming treetops, lights off, running on instruments in fury. She landed hard enough to rattle her teeth. Floodlights snapped on. Marcus was on his knees in the dirt, hands zip-tied, blood drying under his nose. 10 men in black tactical gear. One woman in a red coat, standing over him like she owned the night. Elena climbed out, heels sinking into mud. The woman in red smiled. You're early. I like punctual. Let him go, Elena said. Or what? You'll fire me. The woman laughed. I'm Victoria Langford. I believe you met my father. He used to sit on your board before you had him disappeared. Elena's stomach dropped. Langford. The hostile takeover 6 years ago. The one the SEC never quite explained. Victoria circled her. Here's how this works. You sign Vanguard over to me, quietly, and your husband gets to keep his spine. You don't, and we start removing pieces. Slowly. Marcus looked up. Elena, don't. Victoria kicked him in the ribs. Hard. Elena felt the baby kick at the exact same second. Something snapped behind her eyes. She smiled. You want the company? It's yours. Victoria's eyebrows shot up. Just like that. Just like that. Elena pulled a flash drive from her pocket, the same one Marcus had left her. Everything you need. Codes. Signatures. Offshore accounts. One condition. Name it. You let me say goodbye. Victoria waved a hand. 30 seconds. Elena walked to Marcus, knelt in the mud, and kissed him like the world was ending. While their lips were still touching, she slipped the flash drive into his mouth. Then she stood up. Done. Victoria snatched the drive from Marcus, plugged it into a tablet. Her face went slack. The screen showed a live feed of the New York Stock Exchange. Vanguard Global shares were plummeting. Someone was dumping billions in real time. What is this? Victoria screamed. Elena wiped mud from her cheek. That's the sound of your inheritance hitting zero. Marcus and I have been selling since sunrise. Every share, every subsidiary, all of it funneled into a trust for orphaned kids in Osaka, the ones you were about to put out of work. Victoria raised her gun. Elena didn't flinch. Go ahead. Shoot me. The second my heart stops, the trust locks forever. You get nothing but headlines. Marcus coughed blood onto the dirt. Told you she was smarter than both of us. Victoria's hand shook. That's when the sky exploded. Blackhawks dropped out of nowhere, searchlights pinning everyone in white. Doors slid open. Ropes fell. Men in FBI windbreakers fast roped down like avenging angels. Victoria tried to run. She made it 3 steps before a sniper round took out her knee. Marcus was cut free. Elena collapsed into his arms, sobbing so hard she couldn't stand. Later, much later, on the flight back to Manhattan, the lead agent filled in the blanks. The consortium was real. So was the missile tech. Marcus fed us everything for 11 months. Tonight was the sting. We needed Victoria on tape threatening a pregnant woman. You gave us that. Elena looked at Marcus. You used me as bait. I used us, he corrected. And I'd do it again. She punched him in the arm. Hard. Then kissed him harder. 3 months later, Vanguard Global was no more. In its place, the Hayes Foundation, the largest clean energy nonprofit on the planet. Elena ran it from a ranch in Montana with a helipad big enough for 2. They named their daughter Liberty. She learned to walk on the same day Elon Musk tweeted that their wind turbines had just powered the entire state of Texas for 24 hours straight. Some nights Elena still wakes up reaching for a mop handle that isn't there. Marcus still checks the locks 3 times. But mostly they sit on the porch and watch the sunset bleed across mountains nobody can buy. And every year on their anniversary, Marcus blindfolds Elena, walks her to the helicopter, and asks the same question. Still think janitors are beneath you? She answers by taking the controls and flying them straight into the stars. Because some love stories start with a dare. Others start with a lie. The best ones start with both. Now I want to hear from you. Drop your city, your state, your little corner of this crazy country in the comments right now. Are you watching from Chicago rooftops? Georgia backroads? Alaska midnight sun? Let me see those flags flying. And if your parents ever taught you that love is worth fighting for, smash that subscribe button like Elena smashed the patriarchy. We're a family now. See you in the next one.